Welcome to DM Prep. My name is Ian and I'll be your DM for today. Today we're prepping episode 14 of the Gilded Troll plays Curse of Strahd. So let's get into it. So when last we left off, the heroes were at the ruins of Berez. They just defeated Babalai Saga and they need to return the gem of growth is what I actually called it. I did make it a homebrew magic item. So how about we take a look at that real quick. So it is growth. Pretty sure it's on page 2. We'll take a look at it anyway. So I essentially wanted to do with this magic item the two things the gem is canonically able to do in the book. So number one, it can do essentially plant growth, and it doubles the yield of food for all everything within a half-mile radius. So you don't have to cast plant growth every year or whatever it is. So that's essentially the first effect. Then the number two is that it can serve as the material component for the Awaken spell. And my rationale behind doing this was to create a sort of mechanical rationale behind the ability to create a tree blight at Yester Hill. So it can, essentially it's the last paragraph that's really important because it does have the Awaken spell. Material component must be permanent. Twitch Prime, thanks for the sub. And you're on a 10-month streak. Holy shit. I think you might have the longest streak out of everyone. You're not our longest subscriber, but I think you have the longest streak because Mike keeps losing his. But it's the third paragraph that's really a big deal. It's that you can awaken objects and turn them into constructs. And then the CR of that is limited by the level of the spell used to cast the level of the slot used to cast the spell. But you can increase the CR by adding creatures who also spend spell slots. So the idea behind that is that we have a Tree Blight who is CR7, but we have druids essentially casting. Oops. We want the druid monster. We are druids who only have second level spell slots who are casting Awaken on this thing. And essentially they're able to get a 7th level spell slot by having 6 of them use a 2nd level spell slot. So they can create a CR7 thing. Yeah, you raise your hands in the air and start chanting and they all work together and bam, they get a tree blight. So it allows for sorts of DM magic where I can just say, yeah, no, there's a lot of them, so they did big magic. Whereas it's something that the players generally aren't going to be able to do. But even if the players were all full casters, this thing still couldn't be abused really, because even if they were all level 17 and they all had 9th level spell slots, and all 5 of them used a 9th level spell slot, it's still only a CR 14, which is okay, whatever. You have a CR 14 thing, and you can't make a lot of them because the gem needs to be permanently affixed to the target by placing it inside. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, that's just something I homebrewed. I think I might have done this on stream. I can't remember, but it is a thing that my players are aware that they have, or at least they should be. I did send them a link to the magic item. So they did that. Which page are we on? I don't know. I use D&D Beyond. There's no page numbers here. All right. That said, I can pull up the Gem of Growth. I'm gonna drop this in the Strahd spoilers channel on our Discord channel. So if you want to take a look at the Gem of Growth specifically, you can do that. Not that it needs to be in spoilers, but if you're not a member of our Discord, I just dropped a link in chat to join our Discord. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link is always in the description below. So currently we're in chapter 10, Ruins of Berez. That's where the players are. They just defeated Babalai Saga. There's not a whole lot else that they want to do here. There's all these ruined buildings, but they didn't show any interest in exploring them. There's scarecrows all around the place, but again, no interest in exploring them. There's the churchyard, which, I mean, they don't even know it exists. And then we have Marina's Monument and the Ulrich Mansion. Amber, what's a Discord? Discord is a service that allows like-minded people to join servers dedicated to talking about a specific topic. In our case, D&D. I mean, specifically, but more generally, just, you know, making a community that just sort of revolves around the Gilded Troll and our Twitch channel and all of our players and all of our viewers. It's a fun little community. So if you don't have a Discord account, you can go to discordapp.com and you can make a Discord account. Yeah, and then you can click the link that's always in our everything. The Channel Point campaign for DIA says it ended. That's because it will have ended because it's October now, but that doesn't mean that I can't restart it. So let me go do that. And by restart, I mean extend. So let me go do that. Channel Point. No, it's in Community. Channel Points. Rewards and Challenges. Extend. We're going to extend for another 30 days. Extended duration. All right, so the DIA campaign will have reappeared, hopefully. So you should be able to see that now. Yeah, we can continue working towards that. If the name of the campaign weren't so goddamn long, I'd be able to see what the percent was. It is at 45%. So when we hit 666,666 channel points, we're gonna run a level 20 speed run of Descent to Avernus. It's gonna be a 1-session, 12-hour affair, I'm guessing, at level 20 from the start. We've done 2 of these before. If you haven't seen them, you can check out our YouTube. We did Tyranny of Dragons. We did Curse of Strahd, in fact. The entire campaign, level 20, 1 session. And the Tyranny was 15 hours. We started at, I want to say 10 a.m. and we went to 3 a.m. And no, that doesn't sound right. I think we might have started at noon and went to 3 a.m. I don't know. It was like 15 hours. And then Curse of Strahd was about 13 hours. It was a lot of fun, very tiring. Viewers seemed to really enjoy them, so that was a lot of fun. But, so we're in Berez, and there's not a whole lot else to do in here. Because they already killed Babalai Saga, they destroyed the Creeping Hut, they got the Gem of Growth, they got the Holy Symbol of Ravenkind. Speaking of which, I have no idea what the Holy Symbol of Ravenkind does, because the last time I ran Curse of Strahd, I did not have a cleric or a paladin in my group, and no one was willing to dip. So we just, like, no one used it. No one attuned to it. No one used it at all. So that was, yeah. So what do it do? High Priest of Ravenloft. Predates the establishment of any church in Barovia. Delivered to a paladin named Lugdana by Giant Ray. Okay. Destroy nests of vampires. Okay. High Priest of Ravenloft. Kept in war. High Priests of Ravenloft. Is it the castle that is now called Ravenloft, or the castle that was at the time called Ravenloft? Don't know. Platinum amulet shaped like the sun, large crystal embedded in its center. Spend a charge and present the holy symbol, make it flare with holy power. Vampires and vampires spawn within 30 feet of the holy symbol. When it flares, must make a wisdom saving throw versus paralyzed, and they can repeat. Okay, so it's hold. Hold vampire. That's cool. Turn undead. If you have turn undead, you can expend 3 charges to give them disadvantage on their saves. That's neat. And you can expend 5 charges while presenting the holy symbol to make it shed bright light in 30-foot radius and dim light for another 30 feet. And that's for 10 minutes. No action required. So that is a really, really powerful item. It's really good for killing vampires. So we're kind of at the point, so my players have the Sun Sword, or essentially what counts as the Sun Sword in terms of this campaign. They have the Hammer of the Morning Lord, which is another item that I homebrewed for this game. They have the Holy Symbol of Ravenkind. They have the Tome of Strahd. So we're kind of at the point where they should be feeling like they're powerful enough to kill Strahd. They're level 8. They've got 2 incredibly powerful legendary magic items, one of which is sentient. And they really should feel like they're tying up loose ends and getting ready to fight Strahd. But they're not, because that's not the way I'm running this campaign. It's not going to end when they kill Strahd. If they do kill Strahd, literally nothing will happen. They'll kill Strahd, and nothing happens. They're still stuck in Barovia. 6 months later, he returns. So if they do decide to just go kill Strahd, bad things are going to happen, namely them being trapped here for 6 months, essentially. Because the only way out of Barovia, in my opinion, is for them to actually end the curse of Strahd. And a lot of people think that Strahd is the curse. It is the curse that is Strahd. But it's actually the curse on Strahd, which extends to all of Barovia. And that curse is that Strahd is trapped here. So what I need to do, essentially, is I need to communicate that to them. And who better to do that than Van Richten himself? So at some point, they need to meet Van Richten. And I had planned for them to meet Van Richten at Van Richten's tower. But the session that was supposed to happen, 2 of my players were missing, and I did not want to run this huge expository conversation with 2 players missing. Like, I just didn't want to do that. We barely even played that day because 2 players were unable to make it, and then a 3rd player woke up late. So that was great. But we did end up playing mostly because, a quorum is important, right? And I don't think 4 players is enough to have these really hard-hitting, heavy plot dump episodes. So the plan now is essentially that they'll run into Van Richten when they go to the Ember Temple. So they've already met Casimir at the Vistani camp, and I want him, and he's already pointed them to the Ember Temple, but he never mentioned it by name, I don't think. He's just like, there's a cave high up in the mountains that I've read about. It's supposed to be a place of power, supposedly where Strahd gets his power, and you could take power to oppose him. And I think that's essentially what the players are waiting for. They want to wait for whatever is in the Ember Temple. They want to make sure that whatever is there that they have when they go try to fight Strahd. And they're actually at a point where they're high enough level to go to the Amber Temple, basically. So Amber Temple is designed for level 9, and they're level 8. Close enough. So I asked my players on Discord what the hell they're planning to do from here, and what they came up with was, first they want to go to Yester Hill to get the gem for the Martikovs at the winery, because they've been told that the gem is at Yester Hill. Second of all, they want to go to the Werewolf Den because they've been told that there's an ally there, and they're hoping to find that ally and not have to kill people. And then they want to go to the Vistani camp, pick up Casimir, and then take Casimir to the Amber Temple so that they can get that power that they've been promised. None of these things are gonna go quite the way they expect, I don't think. So Yester Hill, they decided they were right at Yester Hill. So let's bring up a map of Barovia. Now let's do it on Roll20. So let's bring up a map of Barovia. And so they were at the winery. They were at the winery, and Yester Hill was right here. And they decided, no. We made a deal with Strahd. We have to go talk to Strahd, and that's a thing that we need to do, because we promised we'd be there in the next 24 hours, and it's been 18 hours. So we really don't have time to fuck around. We're just going to go straight to the castle. We got to talk to Strahd. And then they got to Vallaki and then decided, you know what, let's not talk to Strahd, because the Keepers of the Fell, everyone keeps telling us not to do it, which is totally a thing that the NPCs would do. I think my players interpreted that as me telling them not to do that, though. And I tried to explain to them after the session, before they had acted on the decision. At the end of the session, they decided, no, we're not going to the castle, we're going to go to Berez instead. But I tried to explain to them between sessions, no, I'm not telling you these things, the NPCs are telling these things. I'm not telling you not to go to Krezek. There's just a lightning bolt that hit the bridge and blew it up. Whatever, no big deal. I'm not telling them to take one path or another. It might just seem that way. But that's something that you need to keep in mind when you're DMing, is anything that any NPC says sounds like the voice of the DM, because it's literally in the DM's voice. Unless you're doing a voice, like when I do Kyra or Old People or any of the 3 voices I can do. But anyway, they decided to blow off Yester Hill, and then they made their way to Berez, and then they stayed at Berez across the river from Babalai Saga overnight because they felt like they were in no condition to face her, which was probably accurate, to be honest. And then, so it's the next morning. It's like 6 a.m. or something like that, and now they want to go to Yester Hill. So essentially what's going to happen is they're going to go to Yester Hill, and nothing is going to be as they're expecting. They're not going to get there, or they're going to get there, and there's not going to be a gem there because they blew it off. So let's talk about Yester Hill, Chapter 14, Yester Hill. So we've already prepped Yester Hill before. We've got, we set up a handout. We set up a handout for Yester Hill Mood, which is beautiful. I think it's really cool. There's a circle of stones. There's a big ass tree behind it. There's this tiered hill. I think it's fucking awesome. It's really cool. And then we even set up a battle map in Roll20. Where it at? Yeah, here we go. Yester Hill top. Because the top of the hill is absolutely fuck massive, and the regular map just does not do it justice. Like, this is the only map. This is the only map, and they're literally 100 or 50-foot squares. It's like you can't combat. You just can't use that. So I found this map that someone made of Yester Hill. Is there a credit anywhere on it? Nope. And I don't remember Googling this one, so I think someone in chat actually pointed it out to me. So thank you to whoever it was that pointed me to this map. It's probably Z. Z's always the one sending maps. So yeah, Yester Hill's going to be a little different. There's still going to be druids, there's still going to be berserkers, there's still going to be the Gulthias tree and all the blights and all that, except that there's also going to be, like this, the statue is essentially going to be exploded. If I recall correctly, lightning strikes it when the ritual finishes. 30-foot tall plant creature bursts out of the statue, sending twigs and earth flying. It resembles a dead tree with green light seeping out of it. Commands the berserkers to leave the hill so he can be alone. As they flee into the woods, he gazes longingly at the image of his ancestral homeland to the west. So this could actually... Okay, so this is actually a better idea. I like this a lot better. So Strahd is at Yester Hill. He looks off into the distance. He has Bucephalus with him. Makes for an easy escape. Let's turn on word wrap. All right. So essentially, Wintersplinter's gone. He's got about a half-hour head start, I'd say, which means that he's already at the winery because the tree blight has 30-foot speed, and which makes like normal travel speed, and it is, if I recall correctly, only. So it's 3 miles to the winery. So let's say he's taking a normal pace, and it's going to take him an hour to get there. So he's a half hour out, and the players are literally incapable of catching up to him because they can't get to the winery in half an hour. At least I don't think so. So they have, they don't, most of them have a 50-foot fly speed because they're were-ravens now. But even if they shortcut through here, it's 2.6 miles. And that's slightly more than half an hour at 5 miles an hour. Can Strahd just zoop to anywhere in Barovia? So Strahd can't teleport. Strahd is a middling wizard. He has access to every spell of 1st through 5th level because all of those spells exist in Amber Temple, and Strahd is well aware of Amber Temple. But he only has 5th level spell slots. He doesn't have access to the teleport spell, and he's not a god here. That said, he does have a nightmare. So the nightmare has 90-foot fly speed and the ability to walk through ethereal plane. So riding Bucephalus, Strahd can just disappear into the ethereal plane and then fly at 90-foot speed, unhindered, unmolested, and then just appear anywhere. And that essentially gets him a speed of 9 miles an hour. And he is unhindered also by the fogs of Barovia. So if he wanted to go from his castle to Yester Hill, it would take him not even an hour and a half to get there. It'd be like an hour 15 to get from the castle to Yester Hill. Just straight line distance because that's something he can do. Whereas no one else is able to do that because of the fogs. So he can't just zoop to anywhere in Barovia, but it is very fast. Yeah, 9 miles an hour is pretty fast, like Usain Bolt speed. No, Usain Bolt's actually about 30 miles an hour. Usain Bolt, top speed MPH. Yeah, 27.8 miles an hour. 9 miles per hour is it's a sprint, I will say. For the longest time, I know that for the longest time it took the 4-minute mile was a barrier that just was not surpassed in the Olympics, and then eventually it was. But for a long time, a 4-minute mile was unheard of. And if you're doing a 4-minute mile, that's 15 miles an hour. So 9 miles an hour isn't even a sprint. It's running, honestly. But it's running non-stop, which is not something that humans can do. Like, a human generally can't run for an hour straight. Like, they can't run at top speed for an hour straight. So yeah, that's it's like your sprint speed. Got it. But because Barovia is only like 15 miles across, he can basically be anywhere anytime he wants, as long as he's got an hour notice, which is generally fucking plenty. So the idea here is that Strahd is at Yester Hill. He's not interested in a fight. He's honestly just trying to stall them. Start a timer. Legit start a timer. Use it as a rule of thumb, but not hard and fast, because the game will stop for rolls to happen occasionally. So the thing that I mean about, or what I mean about by saying that, is that if I start a timer and by the time the players go, oh fuck, he's stalling us, 20 minutes may have elapsed real time. But if we spent 7 minutes of them, saying, is he lying? And I go roll insight, and then it takes them 10 seconds to roll insight, and then 15, 20 seconds for me to describe what they notice about him. It's gonna be, it might only be 10 or 15 minutes in game, but by the time they realize, it should probably be too late. That's right, Shadows. Honestly, by the time they get to Yester Hill, so Wintersplinter took off 30 minutes ago. He is, therefore, halfway to the winery. And will arrive in 30 minutes. It takes him 30 minutes to destroy the entire winery. I think 30 minutes is honestly, 30 minutes to destroy the entire winery is generous. I think more realistically it'd be like 10 minutes. I think Tree Blights might have Siege Monster. Could be wrong. Yeah, no, they have Siege Monster. So he's throwing branch attacks. He can't bite attack anything unless he grapples it. But like if he grasps an object and then bites it, it's like, oh, you just did double damage to that. So you're doing 38 damage to an object with 50 hit points. Like, okay, we'll do that again next turn. 6 seconds from now, while you're throwing branches at shit and everything. Where ravens suffer heavy casualties. So here, alright, so arrival at Yester Hill. No, Wintersplinter timeline. Arrival at Yester Hill. Left. Wintersplinter left 30 minutes ago. 30 minutes later, Wintersplinter arrives at the winery. We're gonna pull up the winery. The Wizard of Wines. So I'm looking up. Here we go. I'm looking up the names of the were-ravens. 5 minutes later, Dag Temescu dies. 5 minutes later, Stefania dies. Stefania Mardukov dies. 5 minutes later, Adrian Mardukov dies. 5 minutes later, Davian Mardukov dies. 5 minutes later, Elvir Mardukov dies. There's gonna be some yikes. It's gonna be some yikes. 5 minutes later, the children are gonna flee. 5 minutes later, the winery is fully destroyed. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people dying. The children have fled. Ulrich. So they met a were-raven named Ulrich. Has taken them to Blocky. So yeah. So we're gonna change this to minutes in. So this is essentially all I need to do is keep track of how many minutes have elapsed since the players arrived at Yester Hill, and then figure out where we are in this process based on that. So we are going to say that because the tree blight is it was created by this gem of growth, that that its attacks are magical, which will overcome the were-raven's immunity to non-magical attacks, or bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks that aren't silvered. So it's overcoming those. But yeah, so so we've got 4 children, teenage son named Claudio, 2 boys named Martin and Vigo, and a baby girl named Yolanda. So only Claudio. 3 young boys are were-ravens with 7 hit points each. Yolanda is effectively him at 1 hit point. Claudio, I guess, is apparently just a regular were-raven, so he's got 31 hit points. This thing hits like a truck, though, so 31 hit points. It does 16 damage per hit. So if it hits them twice, they're going down. Z, it's a fantastic emote. I really gotta make some paired emotes, but then on the other hand, I only have the 5 slots, so excuse me, or the 5 tier 1 slots. That is, oh jeez, hiccups. So yeah, this is essentially what it's gonna be. But he is interested in who they are. If Rubek lights his hammer, or Gramps lights his holy symbol, Strahd's going to be really bad at charming Gramps, because Gramps is a druid, so he's got high wisdom and wisdom saving throw proficiencies. But let's see what the... I guess I haven't really looked at the Strahd stat block much. Let's see what a save DC is. I'm guessing it's 17. Charm, yep, DC 17. You get random emotes. Oh, okay. Monster, please. It's cute. It's cute. I need more. I need different emotes. I don't know. Nobody really uses staff for Ian. Or Samamas. No one uses them. If Rubek lights his hammer, Strahd is going to be weary. So if Rubek lights his hammer, Strahd charms them and asks that they stop that. It hurts him. So the target isn't under Strahd's control, but it takes Strahd's requests and actions in the most favorable way And they regard Strahd as a trusted friend to be heeded and protected. And if he says that's hurting me, then yeah, they're gonna stop doing that. I'm just chugging down this water. So that's Yester Hill. I think Samamas is tier 2. Pretty sure Bayless is still tier 3. Yeah, I mean, essentially, we can, would you kindly? Yeah, I mean, I can absolutely use would you kindly. That might get their heebie-jeebies, which is absolutely something that I love doing. So really play up the fog curtain, which Strahd is just pensively staring at when they arrive. So even though my players are capable of flight, I have told them, I don't know if this is true, but I have told them that they need to stay close to the roads, otherwise the fog will choke them to death. And they know that when the fog pulls in and they can't see anything, that it does choke them. They have to make these con saves versus exhaustion. So they know that. They know that they can't just cheat and go wherever the hell they want, which is fantastic because that would cause so many problems for me. Especially since 4 of them have flight. So, you know, it makes it a lot easier that when they arrive at Yester Hill, I know which way they're arriving from. They're going to arrive on the road or you know, slightly above it. So, you know, I don't have to worry about like, oh, like you're flying in, you see this fog wall. It's like, no, like you walk up, you see the hill, you start making your way up the hill, and then what the fuck is that? So that's the cool thing. So I'm going to say, where do I want Strahd to actually be? Like where on the hilltop? So we're gonna pull up there are so many maps. We're gonna pull up Yester Hill. So he can't be like on like I had an idea where he would just be like sitting on the ring of rocks, but that ring of rocks is constantly getting struck by lightning, so maybe not that one. But I'm thinking probably like over here, you know, between the ring of rocks and the, why did they put Wintersplinter there? That is not where Wintersplinter is. Get out of here. That's the Gulthias tree. You know, halfway between the ring of rocks and the bushes around the Gulthias tree is where Strahd's going to be. So how about I just drop his token? Strahd von Zarovich. There we go. So we've got, weep, he's a pretty dude. How about having casually stroll up from whichever side the players did not enter from. If they enter the ring of rocks, I don't hate it. I kind of, so the thing that I want him to be doing is I want him just sort of staring pensively at the wall of fog, because that is, so the wall of fog, if you don't know, is areas of the hill, wall of fog. A white fortress on a hill above a great city. The city appears quite distant, maybe a mile away. The fog obscures all detail, but you can hear what sounds like the echo of a church bell. The dark powers have created a false image of Strahd's ancestral home within the fog just beyond reach. So he comes to the hill on occasion to gaze upon the city, even though he knows it can't be real. So he's just standing here with his nightmare next to him. So let me make a nightmare token. Nightmare. What? Okay. I guess Bucephalus is the only nightmare in this entire module, so he gets a named token. That's neat, whatever. So yeah, he's just chilling here with his nightmare. And no, neither of them are anywhere near this big. But that's okay. It's whatever. These are 50-foot squares, and we don't care. Yeah, so he's just, you know, standing, arms behind his back, staring at the wall, and his flaming horse is near him, and you know that's kind of neat. And then as the players arrive, they'll notice, you know, down here. Oh, look, Strahd and Bucephalus, cool. They put the tokens on the map already. Well, I guess I can delete those. So, bleep. And And I should probably grab these guys, and I should put them on the GM overlay, just so the players don't see them when they get, like, as soon as they get here. So Wintersplinter's not here. The Berserkers and Druids aren't here. The Blights are still here because they're unimportant. But essentially, I want to give them the opportunity to explore a little bit when they get here, and then I literally just start a timer once they start talking to Strahd, and then just sort of guesstimate at how long it's been since they arrived, based on what they've done and how long those things have taken, and all that. So one thing that I do want to look up ahead of time is how long it takes for them to make a lap around Yester Hill. And I will just be super merciful and give them how long it takes at the highest level. So if they're making a lap around the hill at normal walking pace, it's like 5 minutes. Because a mile would be 20, or no, actually that's like 10 minutes. All right, so it's 10 minutes to make a full lap around the hill if that's something that they wanted to do. So that could burn them. So it takes 10 to 15 minutes to walk around the hill, walk a lap around the hill. So that is something that I want to keep in mind because that could burn time and that could very dramatically affect all of this. But basically, who they are, why they're here, and why are you so good at read aloud tech? You see a man staring out from the hilltop between the ring of rocks and the dead tree surrounded by bushes, looking out onto the horizon and the wall of fog far away, a coal-black mount wreathed in flames next to him. For what he gazes at, you do not quite know. Well, no, because everyone can actually see the image in that fog, but I will take that. Anyway, I'll adapt it. He stares wistfully into the distance. I need to look right now. Check 3 different looks for Nightmare and Curse of Strahd spoilers. Let's take a look. Why not? Those are really cool. Let me see what the Bucephalus token looks like. I mean, I like the original enough to say that I don't need different. I like fire more than like magma. Like, yeah, I'll stick with the default, the one that has Strahd riding on. Yeah, so essentially, like, this image of a city is projected on the fog. He stares wistfully into the distance. I think it's fine. Wistfully into the wall of fog. Yeah. Alright. So, Strahd is at Yester Hill. He looks off into the distance. He has Bucephalus with him, makes for an easy escape. He's not interested in a fight. He's honestly just trying to stall them, but he is interested in who they are, why they're here, and why they've felt the need to force him to accelerate his plans. Do they know it's a city from his past? No, they most certainly do not. But, you know, if they decide to chat him up, they might learn that. Slightly big oof. Mr. Bayless won't be present this coming session, and I think his character has the biggest beef with Strahd. So that's going to be weird. It's going to be really weird to explain that he's not. I'm actually going to reach out to Bayless specifically. So yeah, since Mr. Bayless is not going to be at the session, I do want to, I want to reach out for what he gazes at. A city projected onto the wall of fog as if frozen in time. So the thing is, by the time they see Strahd, they will have already seen the wall of fog. As soon as they get out, either to near the top of the hill or around the hill, basically anywhere, let's say, if they get anywhere in this area, I would say, to the left of this line, they can see the wall of fog. So if they go literally anywhere over there, which is going to be long before they see Strahd, they'll see the wall of fog, so I can describe what's on that. So, I don't need to describe that in the text where I'm, describing Strahd, staring at the wall of fog. That would be a little redundant. But I did reach out to Bayless because he's not going to be here on Sunday, asking essentially, like, what should we do about, like, Snurk? How do we justify Snurk having minimal role play involvement in this scenario where Snurk would probably be very role play involved? So that is something that you can absolutely work with your players on if they're going to be absent, and don't be afraid of giving them slight spoilers. I'm not telling them where he's meeting Strahd or in what circumstances or anything like that. But I am telling him, like, you're probably going to meet Strahd. How do you want to handle that? So he's offline right now, so we'll get to him after I'm done prepping, or at least after I'm done streaming prep. So that's Yester Hill. I'm expecting some neat things to happen at Yester Hill, and then based on how long they take, it could be that the winery is fully destroyed. Oh, cool. Bayless just replied, shrug emoji. So that's neat. But yeah, depending on how long they take, there could be some really heavy role play at the winery. Basically, I just had a thought. If they are approaching here, whoops, not that one. I want Barovia. If they're approaching Yester Hill from the north, so my expectation is that they're with Ulrich, a were-raven, and the plan is for them to fly down the river until they get to the Solenka Pass, and then they're going to take Solenka Pass up this way, and then they're going to go down this road. If Wintersplinter left 30 minutes ago, then they would have flown over Wintersplinter on the way here. So do I... Well, hang on. Let's do a little bit of fudging. So I can change exactly where, like, they can fly like to here, and then that's only a mile from, not even a mile. It's half a mile from Yester Hill. So that's 10 minutes. So Wintersplinter could have already been passed here. So yeah, if as long as we go like west enough, we can fudge it like you just missed him. Yeah, it's all approximate anyway. Having the map with a ruler tool actually makes things a little bit more difficult because it's like, well, shit. I am talking to Mr. Bayless and trying to figure out what he thinks. So I'm trying to figure out how to explain Snurk being quiet when out of the whole group he probably has the most reason to talk to Strahd. Keep holding off on these important roleplay moments. The game won't have a chance to do anything important. Fun. Sorry, this is super uninteresting to watch me type. So I had an idea where, essentially, as soon as the party arrives, Strahd sees Snurk. Strahd recognizes Snurk because he's stolen Doreen Ito's memories or whatever, or he extracted or like interrogated him or something like that. And then Strahd just immediately charms Snurk, and just like that's that, just charm Snurk, and no one even needs to know about it. So. Like there's no visible target's humanoid you can see within 30 feet of them. If the target can see Strahd, Wiz save versus charmed, blah blah blah. Cool. And then it ends if Strahd does anything harmful to the target. Cool. So Strahd's not interested in a fight because Strahd knows he'll win, or thinks he knows he'll win, until maybe he learns that they have the Hammer of the Morning Lord or the Holy Symbol of Ravenkind. It's like, oh, they have sunlight, that's kind of a problem. But he probably still thinks he can win, and even if he doesn't, he knows he can't die, so fuck it. So he's not interested in a fight. It doesn't interest him in any way. But he is annoyed at them for making him accelerate his delicate plans. So, obviously he was working with Lady Wachter to take over Vallaki. That's done. It wasn't supposed to be done for another decade. Whatever. Yeah, like he was having fun with Vallaki, and now he had to, pull a bunch of strings, and bam, done. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't fun. I was hoping to get another 10 years of entertainment out of it, but I couldn't let you just ruin all of my plans, so I had to use some backup plans, which aren't nearly as fun. Bayless asks, is it because our time is up or because of where we're going? I'm just like, I mean, both. So this is Yester Hill. As long as I point them west enough, they end up on the road early enough. It's fine. And then I can even explain that Ulrich takes this path, which would mean that he essentially while Wintersplinter would be right here, and then Ulrich flies over this way, and he misses Wintersplinter entirely. Doesn't get to warn the Martikovs or anything. So they don't have time to get back up or anything. So yeah, as long as they find Wintersplinter's path and not Wintersplinter himself, unless they go, we're gonna go check that out right now, which I might actually just say that doesn't leave a huge path. I was thinking oh yeah, it's gonna churn the fucking ground and it's gonna be a big fucking deal, but let's see. Travel north, lay waste to the blah blah blah. Might not understand what the druids are up to. Wonder where the druids are setting the tree blight. Destination should become clear. Okay. Yep. Alright, and then special events, Wintersplinter attacks. They leave their winery and return at a later time before dealing with Wintersplinter. The enormous tree blight is sent from Yester Hill to ravage the vineyard and destroy the winery. They arrive to find the grapevines trampled and the winery in ruins. Tracks are clearly visible on the trail to the south. Shit. The Martikovs narrowly escape the carnage and flee to the Blue Water Inn in Vallaki. Crushed at the loss of the winery, and morale in Vallaki sinks to an all-time low as word of the winery's destruction spreads through town. 3 days later, Babalai Saga sends scarecrows to take up positions in the vineyard to discourage the were-ravens from returning. They attack anyone who crosses the vineyard or approaches the ruined winery. So I'm essentially throwing out all of this. I don't think it's really interesting to say, oh yeah, morale in Vallaki sinks to an all-time low. Morale in Vallaki sucks. Would a twig blight be forced to grow into Wintersplinter? No, that's not how that works. So they have a giant effigy in the middle of Yester Hill. and then they essentially summon the Tree Blight out of it. Could a Twig Blight grow into a Tree Blight? I mean, maybe. Who knows? But that's not how I'm running it. That's not how the book presents it. But I'm essentially going to say, like, oh yeah, like it's made of plant. It knows how to be gentle on the ground. Like it's just sliding over the ground rather than like these big stompy footsteps like a treant. Like it knows how to hide its tracks, and it knows that it needs to hide its tracks because there's them's heroes. And then if the players catch up to the Tree Blight at any point, they'll just absolutely fucking curb stomp it because they fought a Tree Blight and a Babalai Saga's Creeping Hut and a Babalai Saga at the same time, and they won anyway. And that was literally last session because we got a summon. The players, one of our player viewers, decided to summon for a campaign he isn't in because he felt like that'd be cool. So the Wintersplinter arrives at the winery 30 minutes after the players arrive at Yester Hill, and it's essentially up to them to be like, fuck, he's stalling us. And if they just legit do not notice, it's got Pass Without Trace, innate ability. There you go. Perfect. It's got Pass Without Trace. It leaves no tracks. Let's see. Pass Without Trace says that you can't be tracked without magic, right? Leaves behind no tracks or other traces with passage. Perfect. So yeah, there you go. You can't be tracked except by magical means. So they can't even follow it. They can't figure out where it's going. That's not like all they can do is think, where is it going? And they might think, let's go to the winery. Like, let's just beeline the winery and make sure that that's okay. And if not, and if it is, like, let's make our way. You know what I mean? Like they might be smart enough to do that. Who knows? But this could be an opportunity for the winery to get absolutely like murdered. So once they're done at Yester Hill, their plan was to go to the Werewolf Den. I don't have much to prep with the Werewolf Den. Nothing really has changed, except for the fact that they killed a lot of werewolves. So at this point, when they get to the Werewolf Den, all of the werewolves that are specified as being here are going to be here. The only difference is that Kirill Stilyanovich, who they met already, do I have art for him? Of course they don't. Why? There we go. There's Kirill. So Kirill Stilyanovich is here without his hunting party. So he doesn't have 6 werewolves and 9 wolves because the players already killed them. So they attacked Van Richten's tower and were rebuffed pretty significantly. So Kirill, like, when they get there, Kirill's essentially going to be like, those are the ones that killed the hunting party. Kill them! And then everyone else in the cave is going to be like, how about we don't, and we just throw you to the wolves, metaphorically, since we're wolves, and that's poetic. So they throw Kirill to the players, and like the players can do with him what they want, and then the players are essentially just like, yeah, we can, like, we're like, you guys are cool, like, you can come in, like, we like you because fuck Kirill. And then so they can meet Zuleika, who worships Mother Night, and yeah, that's about it. That's the only real difference here. So Zuleika hates Strahd, and really just does not want to. Right? Let's look up Zuleika. Kirill reestablishes dominance. Emil. When Kirill returned, he was accompanied by a pack of several dozen direwolves loyal to Strahd. He brought word from Castle Ravenloft that Strahd was not pleased with Emil's attempt to fracture the pack. Direwolves took Emil back to Castle Ravenloft to face punishment, and Zuleika hated it. The rest of the pack is unwilling to challenge Kirill's authority and face Strahd's wrath. Kirill won't let Zuleika hunt, so she's more or less confined to the den. So so he's going to... So the werewolves aren't going to throw Kirill to the players, but they're also not going to back him up when he says kill them. They're just going to be passive. They don't think that they can get away with openly defying Strahd, but they're okay with just defying Kirill and letting these guys kill him. And then once he's dead, Zuleika is essentially the leader of the pack. I'm just going to say. So, believing her mate to be dead by Strahd's hand, she prays to Mother Night for guidance, hoping the goddess might hold enough sway over Strahd to persuade him to free her beloved. Kirill has ordered Zuleika to guard the prisoners. The characters rescue Emil and return him safely to Zuleika. She gladly releases the children. The characters confirm that Emil is truly dead, which they don't know. So when the players arrive, she actually thinks that they are... she thinks that Mother Night sent them, which may or may not be kind of true, because Inej, our rogue, is planning on multi-classing Cleric next level, and worshipping Mother Night and taking Twilight Domain. So that's going to be neat. So there could be a thing. So yeah, that's how the werewolf den is going to go. There isn't going to be much fighting, if any. They're just going to, like, Kirill's not going to go down without a fight. He's too proud for that. We can even throw some dire wolves that just, like, appear out of the woods to help him. So do we have a map? I'm pretty sure we have a map of the mouth of the cave. It's going to be right at the end of the list, because this is, like, the last chapter. So let's turn on Fog of War for this area, because that's a thing I need. There's only one healer in this party, and it's not Inej. I mean, yeah. So we're going to turn on Fog of War, turn off Dynamic Lighting. Okay. And then I will Polygon Reveal. Just do a rough cavern entrance kind of thing. And then they would be able to see most of that even from outside. So there aren't any woods on this map, which is a little annoying, because I wanted the dire wolves to appear from the woods. That's alright. Alrighty. I do want to reveal up to here. Basically just like, hey, like, it's a cave. Yeah. So, yeah, there's one healer, and it is definitely not an edge. Gramps is the healer. Oh, cool. Squares are 10 feet. That's useful. So we're gonna go into the GM overlay. We're gonna grab Kirill, and then we're gonna delete everything else without deleting Z1. So Kirill would be here, and then yeah. So yeah. So yeah, Zuleika would be their ally. She is their fated ally. So there's gonna be there's a lot of lycanthropy in this group. Like they already have 3 were-ravens in the group, and they're gonna have Zuleika with them. She is a werewolf, so it's gonna be really interesting, I think. And then Dekinder. If the characters get the children away from the den while Kirill is alive, he's not. So the special event doesn't happen. So that's neat. But this is a thing that could happen if the characters aren't sure where to take the children. Because Zuleika doesn't want the children there. I think that was essentially the. Kirill would arm the children with weapons and force them to fight each other until only one child was left standing. The winner would be turned into a werewolf, ensuring what Kirill called the strength and purity of the pack. Emil advocated keeping all the children alive and turning them into werewolf, thus increasing the pack's size. Emil believed that a larger pack would ensure the werewolf's survival, whereas Kirill saw a larger pack as too difficult to control and feed. So I think Zuleika would actually have her own viewpoint that that werewolf lycanthropy is just a curse. Like it's not something that she wants to continue, so she's happy to let it die with her generation. She doesn't want to have kids. She doesn't want to turn any children into werewolves. And she will essentially... Are any of the children here already werewolves? question. Each of the 8 children, AC 10, 1 hit point, no attacks. Yeah, so the children are not yet werewolves, so Zuleika's like, get them out of my sight. Like, I don't want them here. Now that Kirill's dead, they can go home, at which point the children would say that, like, their parents are all dead, so they don't really have much of a home. And then we can have the were-raven pop down and say, hey, how about we take them to Krezk? And hopefully by that point, it will be nighttime, so the players can go to Krezk. Or actually, by that then my players would need to go to Vallaki to get wine. So they have to go from here to Vallaki to get the wine that they were supposed to take to Krezk, and then take it to Krezk. So by that point, it should be nighttime in-game, and if it isn't, I can just fudge it so that it is. Because it's like 6 a.m. and they would need to travel like halfway across Barovia 3 times. Easily nighttime by the time they get to Krezk, and I don't need to lightning bolt a bridge again. So that's a thing that I can do. All right, so that's Curse of Strahd, episode 14. I don't think they're gonna get far. I don't think they're gonna get past the werewolf den, if they even get that far. I do think that the roleplay with Strahd might take a while, in which case, like, this all could happen, and if it doesn't, you know, whatever, it happens. So sorry, Jesse, you showed up right at the end. Yeah, you made it just in time for the end. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit about how to manage missing players. I don't know. Work with your players. If they can't be there, work with them. See what makes most sense. Generally, what we do is we have another player run that player's character in combat, just for the sake of balance, so that I don't have to rebalance fights for fewer player characters. But then in terms of roleplay, that character is essentially just not present. So I am working with Bayless. I have given him minor spoilers, like, you know, you're going to meet Strahd, so that he can make decisions about what we can do, so that he can help me make a decision about what we can do about Strahd, so that it isn't terrible. If she lives long enough and Gramps figures out that he might be able to cure her, do you think she would let him greater restoration her, or making her curse far too ingrained? Greater restoration. So greater restoration and remove curse only works on the children. The children that were just made infected with lycanthropy. People who were born as werewolves, you can only have it cured by wish. So doesn't born lycanthropy only capable of those infected? Yeah, so you can only have your lycanthropy cured if you were born with it via wish. Otherwise, if you were infected during your life, then Greater Resto or Remove Curse will end it. And I think Remove Curse is a druid spell. Nope, not a druid spell. So shit. But yeah, if they make it to level 10, which would allow Gramps to be Druid 9, he would have access to Greater Resto, which damn well better be a druid spell. It is a druid spell, cool. So yeah, if they make it to level 10 where he can get to Druid 9, he would have access to Greater Resto, as long as he's got enough diamond to cast that. And I do see that there is a 10-year-old who is afflicted with lycanthropy after winning one of Kirill's despicable contests. Yikes. So that is Curse of Strahd. So if you enjoyed this, check out our Curse of Strahd game. We play it every Sunday right here on the Twitch channel, 1 p.m. EST. If you're watching us on YouTube, please check out our Twitch. If you're watching us on Twitch, please check out our YouTube. We have every single episode we've ever streamed, including all my DM prep, handily organized by playlist. And then we also have a Discord channel, which I'll drop in chat. We also have a few socials. We've got YouTube, Discord, Twitter. We have an Instagram now that I need to add to that. It's thegildedtroll.tv, because someone already took the Gilded Troll. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a break. I'm going to grab a drink. I'm probably going to grab a bunch more water. and go to the bathroom. I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and then we can start Odyssey of the Dragon Lord prep. Yeah, we'll see you soon.